Marcus. The year is 2012, and you're probably somewhere 30 years from now. Well, to give you a taste of what's happening here and now, let's see. The iPhone 5 was just released a few months ago. Obama was just re-elected to his second term. Hurricane Sandy hit the East Coast a few weeks ago. Yeah, those are the facts. But there are a lot of misconceptions about our generation. This generation. Those of us born between the mid-80s and the year 2000. We are known as Generation Y. There are a lot of claims that people are making about us. Older generations are saying that Generation Y is lazy, antisocial, and uncreative. But I think there's a lot more to us than that. Yes, there's some truth to these claims, but to let it define our entire generation, I don't think so. This is why we want to set the record straight. We are Generation Y, and I have reasons to believe that we are the busiest, most social, and most creative generation to date. In response to these claims, I present to you Ceci, one of the busiest people that I've ever met.
Hi, my name is Cecilia Fernandez and I was born in 1990.
No, I would definitely not describe myself as lazy. I love being busy and I thrive off of being productive, so I pretty much take advantage of every hour of my day. So I wake up around 5:45, make a pot of coffee, go to the gym and work out until about 7:30, and then go home, eat breakfast, get ready. I'm on campus, usually at work by 9 o'clock, and I stay on campus until about 5. And then afterwards I go home and then start homework for the rest of the night. I am the International Intern Coordinator at the Study Abroad office, and I've been working here since the beginning of the semester. I started working when I was 15. I got my first job on my 15th birthday. This is probably my 6th job, and I've had all of them for at least over a year. It's definitely the trend nowadays because college is so expensive now and getting an education is not for free, and a lot of students have to be self-supportive. But I think in other cultures it's different. Like a lot of the internationals talk about how it's strange that we have to work so young that they don't even really think about that. Well, I've been having this kind of a busy schedule for a while, so I'm pretty used to it now. But it's just time management. We put more on our plate nowadays, I feel like, and there's a huge expectation for us to balance numerous things. Like when I talk to my mom about how her life was when she was in college is completely different to how mine is now. And I feel like every year it gets busier and busier, so I think that our generation now, we're just a lot busier. I think that because we're so technologically savvy now, we have to be up to date with computer stuff. Like that's a huge expectation of us nowadays too, especially in the workforce, or else you're not competitive. I think that because we're so connected now because of technology, I think that it makes people a lot more motivated. It took me a little bit to figure out. Freshman year I was so worried about not doing well in school, like, oh, college, it's so nerve-wracking, like I have to get A's and work really, really hard. But you just figure it out. You figure out how to have a social life because you can't always be just doing homework or just working or just doing school. I like being busy and having friends around all the time. The busy schedule wears on you sometimes. I don't necessarily get 8 hours of sleep a night, so I'll be excited for when I can actually rest again.
Unemployment rate rinsed up to 8.3, but that was really because economists say more people are out in the labor force trying to get work.
But for college students, that means trying to stay afloat in the work economy.
Hardly news for college students graduating this spring, and they should be worried
as we have a whole generation, $24,000 in debt, as you imagined, or as you said.
As a 20-year-old college student, all I hear from professors, neighbors, and others is that when I graduate, I will have little chance to get employment.
I've got my degree. I can't find a job. I've got 3 part-time jobs. They're just barely enough to pay for my food and pay for an apartment. I can't begin to pay back my student loans.
Our generation is severely underemployed. This is directly affecting the reputation of Generation Y. But what most people don't realize is that millions of Americans are working jobs that they are overqualified for. The bad economy is forcing our future leaders and changemakers to suffer by settling for odd-end jobs rather than pursuing careers in their professional fields. But our laziness is not only dependent on the current economical situation we've inherited. Generation Y also possesses a vastly different mentality when measuring our terms of productivity. Gen Y focuses on balance and integration. Just because we use, and in some cases heavily depend on our technology, doesn't mean that our productivity always suffers. I'm definitely guilty of my own share of Facebooking, forum surfing, and looking up crazy videos on the internet. However, these forms of entertainment are being harnessed by our generation to create a new breed of marketing, business interactions, and communication. Technology is everywhere. Our generation grew up watching the internet develop, but it's evolved to become even more than a resource. It's become a necessity in the social world as well. Cell phones, iPods, laptops, tablets, Facebook, Instagram, Pinterest, Skype. Older generations refer to these tools as part of the antisocial dilemma. All of this social media, social networking, and social learning is becoming a platform for us to block out the world and avoid true social interaction. Generation Y has so many uses for technology and social networking that I think it's unfair to classify them as an antisocial generation. While in extreme cases technology overload can get in the way of social life, it is also creating opportunities for contact that weren't even possible before video chatting or even email.
Hi, I'm Simone Abbey, and I was born in La Paz, Bolivia back in 1993. I've lived in 4 different countries since before coming to the United States. I began in Bolivia for 4 years and then eventually moved to Bangladesh with my family and lived there for 7 years. And then the Dominican Republic for 3 years. And then we were lucky enough to go to Cairo, Egypt for 4 years. So I graduated from there and then came here to Chico. So some of the main struggles that I've had since moving here to Chico is trying to keep in touch with all those different people. But luckily with different technology, I've been able to call them on Skype off my phone and computer. And I've been able to use Instagram to see what's going on in their lives, as well as use awesome social networks such as Facebook and all those different sites that allow you to email back and forth, message, share pictures. Guys, I want to come visit you soon.
Do it.
When should I come?
No.
When's a better time in the year? Fall or spring?
It
helps me be more social, just to see like what's going on in other people's lives, as well as seeing like what their schedule might be like. So it makes it really convenient.
Our generation is, it's constantly looking for new ways, and we're always combining different ideas from different sources and kind of all combining it into one. I mean, even look at music, how we take samples from old like 1920s or even older than that kind of music, and we transfer that with like African Afrobeat music, and we make something new. It's not necessarily that we aren't coming up with new ideas or that we're not creative, it's a new kind of creativity. It's like a synthesis.
Our music genres are rehashing and corruptions of music done better the first time around. Clothing seems to be a repeat of the 20s, 40s, 70s, and 80s. Every generation has a clothing style, but why does Generation Y wear their parents' old clothes and idolize the vintage?
Most of these are all from a thrift store.
Perhaps the problem is that our creativity is misinterpreted. Generation Y is pursuing more creative entrepreneurial jobs than any other prior generation.
My name's Kyle. I'm a college student. I was born in 1990. Growing up, my parents never really handed me things. I had to find ways to make money, starting in high school. So I found ways to make money selling animals, and I found my way into geckos. Growing up, I always had a fascination with reptiles, and luckily my parents were kind enough to let me have a few as pets. Started breeding them by accident when me and my brother's geckos got together. Then all of a sudden I had all these little baby geckos. They're like, oh man, it looks like you're doing well. We'll give you $20 per gecko. And to me at that point was a lot of money. And so I ended up selling them back and making good money and getting to go to college because of this. My parents I love them, they're great parents, but they've never given me $1. So I actually am able to live away from home and provide for myself because of this. I think it works so well because of the internet, really. This business would have been impossible back in the day, but because I have the internet, I can sell to anyone in the United States. The internet has opened so many opportunities for this business.
Kyle's lizard business is only one example of how Gen Y picks up on niche audiences and turns it into a demographic. Generation Y utilizes the hybrid. This is how our generation should be creatively defined, where there is appreciation for prior genres of electronic and rock music from the days of our parents. There also emerges an indie culture of musical crossovers, where we recycle fashion trends from mom or dad's glory days. We also update and fine-tune. We emerge, we blend, we fuse, we unite, and we hybridize. We use creativity and self-expression as a core characteristic to our Generation Y values. Our creativity is based on function, and our problems are solved by innovation. So, right now, our generation, my generation, is not very popular. But I believe that we are going to accomplish great things. So if you're watching this 30 years from now, and Generation Y is giving you a hard time, just know that we aren't the ones who can define you. My name is Mancuso. I was born in 1991, and I am Generation Y.